Welcome back, everybody, to Futbol on Full Heel. My name is Frankie, joined as usual by Johnny and Andres.
Yep.
Rafa in the back, running things, holding the boards down. There it is, another week. More action, more drama, more intrigue. We'll start, I guess, by congratulating Andres, who somehow won another round of picks. He got 4 out of 6 last week, so congrats there, buddy.
Yeah. Trying to gain some respect here, you know.
Some respect. Well, you had a nice little run to start our post-COVID episodes, and then Johnny had a nice run, and then me and Johnny tied last week, and now it looks like you won again. So congratulations. This week will be interesting because they're all mostly Premier League picks, obviously because some things have wound down, but slowly but surely and gradually we're starting to see normalcy or some sort of normalcy when it comes to football around the world. And the MLS is back. Tournament continues. LAFC without Carlos Vela dropped LA Galaxy, who were without Chicharito. It was a 6-2 match. It was crazy. LAFC absolutely destroyed the Galaxy. Now Vela didn't opt for the tournament, and then Chicharito got hurt in the last match before they played LAFC, so he's done for this tournament too, with a calf injury. The Fire, our local team, the Fire, started the tournament well. They beat Seattle, the defending champions, 2-1, and then this weekend they got shut out by 2-0 to the Earthquakes, San Jose, the team run by Matias Almeida, with a couple of players that we're familiar with. Your boy Fierro plays on that team. He had an assist this weekend. Interesting squad, San Jose there, but the Fire still with a chance to qualify for the next round. But looks like some of the big name teams are already missing out. Atlanta, the Galaxy. It's interesting the
Sounders?
The play. The Sounders are already into the next round, but they've been playing matches at 9 a.m. in the Florida heat, and those matches have been significantly worse than the evening matches. Just an observation that I made. I feel like they score more when they're playing in the evening instead of in the morning sun. So I guess the other good news there is there haven't been any more positive tests since Nashville and Dallas dropped from the tournament. So it looks like MLS, for the most part, without fans, and for the time being in Orlando, will continue into the second round of this tournament. Mexico had a similar tournament too. They had the Copa por Mexico tournament, and Cruz Azul finally lifted another trophy. Doesn't count for anything, so I'm not super pumped about it, but they won. They beat Chivas 2-1 on a last-minute goal. So I think it's just, I'm not taking a whole lot from it other than hopefully it's a good sign of things to come from Cruz Azul in the tournament starting at the end of the month, as normal tournament play returns in Mexico. Chivas, of course, just dropped a new away kit. They had previously dropped the Puma home kit, and it looked pretty nice, and now they dropped the away one, which is like a third red, the middle part white, and then the other third like blue. Kind of looks like one of those bottle rocket like popsicles you used to get as a kid, right? But definitely interesting. Definitely contributes to the pattern, right, of Puma putting out some interesting designs like the electric Electabuzz Dortmund kit. We'll have to wait and see what else they have in store. But yeah, football in Mexico will be back soon too, so keep an eye out for that. Other places where football will take a break now for a second. Spain, La Liga wrapped up this weekend, and actually it wrapped up towards the end of last week. After we filmed our last episode, Real Madrid sealed the title with a match remaining after Barcelona lost to Osasuna on Thursday. Osasuna, one of the bottom dwellers of La Liga, and Barcelona, of course, lost 2-1 despite a Lionel Messi free kick. Of course, Barcelona bounced back and won their final match. They still finished 5 points behind Real Madrid, but I guess more significantly, more important, Real Madrid won their 34th La Liga. It is their 4th La Liga, I believe, in the last 12 years. 3 or 4 in the last decade. Dominance of Barcelona coming to an end there in Spain. And Real won by 5 points. I think big shout out from me to Zidane, who, when he started coaching at Real Madrid, I didn't give a lot of credit. I didn't think he was much of a tactician, or I didn't see him as anything more than a man manager. But he's now got 11 trophies in 3 full seasons and then 2 half seasons or something like that as Real Madrid manager. So he's putting together an impressive display, and something that Andres had mentioned before, and I know that Johnny had talked about too previously. He kind of changed the blueprint there. We're used to Galactico all-out attacking football, right? But this year, Real Madrid finished with the best defensive record. Courtois won as the best keeper with the most clean sheets this year. Not what we're used to seeing from a championship-winning Madrid side, but overall, their 34th total win. Do you guys have anything? I don't want to detract or take away anything. I mean, Johnny will be the first to say that obviously it was a poor season in La Liga, right? But Madrid has won every match since we've been back. So kudos to them and props to Zidane. Yeah, I think they're deserved winners, right? Obviously a better team than Barcelona right now. Do you guys have anything that you want to add about Real Madrid's La Liga title?
I'll probably say that they probably did deserve the title. Barca definitely didn't. Yeah, I think we mentioned that they didn't want it enough. They had a lot of problems outside and inside, apparently. And Madrid just seemed a little bit more united in terms of like being defensive. But the way that they won it, I guess through VAR and penalties, it kind of detracts from what they did, because they didn't like power their way to the title. They kind of got a lucky bounce in a way, which, I mean, some people will say that, was set up for them to win. But you got to give credit to like Zidane, Ramos. Ramos is probably the best defender in the last decade, I think. They're saying, with the most goals. Benzema. Cruz has been good in the midfield, Casemiro. So, yeah, I mean, they have a squad. That back line is fine and set up to win games. So, congrats to Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say besides I've been saying all year, I don't think the Liga was that great. I've seen some of the worst games from La Liga this year. Nothing really stands out to mind that you can say was a great game in La Liga this year. I remember seeing the Madrid-Barca game, the first one. It was a 0-0 draw. The second one was also not very exciting. Slow midfields. I think there are good ways. I think Madrid and Barca are measurably good. They've got a ways to go to get to like Liverpool, Man City type levels. I will credit Zidane. I think he showed a lot of technical or coaching savviness. Whatever, I don't know what the word is, but if you really break it down, it was impressive that he basically won La Liga without Bale, who only played 45 minutes all year, without Hazard, who was injured, and we want to credit them with depth, but he made the most out of what he had with 2 young kids in Rodrigo and Vinicius. And he pretty much made it through with Benzema, Cruz, Ramos, and Courtois, I want to say. And that is impressive. I don't know. I really don't know what to say besides I think even from the restart, they showed really high fitness levels, and they just wanted it more than Barca. A lot of problems, how we were saying, internally and outside. How Andres mentioned, Barca was just... They were there, but it just, like, it's a team game, and, like, Barca just, they're still not clicking, to be honest, even though they won 5-0, but whatever. I don't take anything away from Madrid besides that they're a good, solid defensive team, but I still don't know what Zidane's style is. I really don't. Even this year, we're saying it's more defensively postured on Courtois, Sergio Ramos, but it's like I don't see a certain style out of Madrid, even though they won the 3 champs in a row or whatever. But that's like another topic. But yeah, credit to Madrid. I think we all kind of picked them as our favorites after the restart. I think it was pretty even, but they won 10 on the row, right? 10 off the bounce to win the league. So credit to them. I mean, go Madrid, I guess. We'll see how they do against City.
I love the sigh before you said that. But you guys bring up a couple of excellent points. I want to start with what Andres said. I mean, it was deservedly won, right? But you did mention there was controversy, right? Some tinges of controversy and conspiracy, like the fact that they got a penalty late in the match in, I believe, 6 or 7 out of all of their matches since the restart, right? When they came back, Barcelona was up by 4 points, right? Or 2 points. Barcelona had the lead. Barcelona was in first place when the league restarted. And then they got a lot of favorable refereeing calls, right? Even this weekend, we saw that Luka Jovic hit a ball inside his box off the arm, and what should have been a penalty for Leganés was ruled by VAR to not be a penalty. So they were getting the benefit of all these calls, and then poor Leganés, had they got this penalty, probably would have stayed in the division. They ended up being relegated after drawing Madrid this weekend 2-2. So quick shout out to our boy El Vasco Aguirre, who was his coach of Leganés. No longer today. It was announced he's leaving Leganés, but he came in January and tried his damnedest to save that club, and they were this close. They were a point behind Celta Vigo and almost survived there. But definitely, I think it's tinges of controversy. Again, I don't want to say full blown out conspiracy, but the officiating and VAR certainly didn't. It was terrible in La Liga since we came back, right? Which, like you said, it wasn't an impressive season at all in Spain, but that definitely made it worse.
Well, it wasn't that bad before the restart. That's why it just raises more flags. How you're saying that it really didn't come into play until after the restart. But I mean, not to take from Madrid, because Barca lost to a 10-man Osasuna.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and I think more than anything, it's what Andres was saying as well, is that to be a champion, sometimes you need the luck, right? Sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes that's what champions do. They ground out the ugly results, right? So again, I don't want to detract anything away from this 34th league title for Madrid, but it was a little controversial, a little questionable at the end there, especially like you said with Sergio Ramos. I think he finished with 10 or 11 goals in the league this season, most of them penalties, but still ridiculous. Second highest scorer next to Benzema. Benzema finished strong after kind of slumping in the middle of the season and finishing post-COVID quite strong on 21 goals, and was pretty much Madrid's attack, right? We've already mentioned a couple times that they've been really sound defensively. Ferland Mendy has been an major upgrade defensively over Marcelo. Varane has been healthy, right? And we know that he's a beast. Ramos has had a stellar year. Carvajal, the right backs have been, kind of quiet but steady. Casemiro has been excellent. But other than that, the midfield has been a revolving door. Valverde has been in and out, but good when he was in. Like Johnny mentioned, they had the young Brazilian wingers in and out of the squad. Asensio in and out of the squad with injury. Benzema was the constant, right? Like Johnny said too. Madrid won with a organized spine of Courtois, Ramos and Varane, Casemiro and Benzema. And not to say that all those players were the only ones that contributed, right? But that I guess that was what they really needed, right? Barca definitely didn't have a spine, right? They had Messi and Ter Stegen, and that was about it, right? They didn't have that structure, right? I guess that's another way that we can really talk about the way that Zidane is coming in managed. It's been a very structured, organized team, right? Maybe a little bit left to be desired attacking, but he's also made some tricky calls. Like, I want to give Johnny props for mentioning that too. Bale played like a hot ass hour all season. He was cracking jokes and sleeping on the bench. And I think it was funny too. I don't know if you guys saw, but during the celebrations, he's like in the back the whole time. Everybody's like passing around the trophy and having a good time, and he's not really trying to be there. Like, I get that he probably doesn't feel like he contributed a lot, but I don't know. He's an interesting character. What do you guys make of him not celebrating, or does he go this summer? I guess is a better question. What is his situation now? I mean, clearly Zidane's not using him. Clearly they can win without him. And it didn't look like he was super upset about not playing. So what happens with Bale this summer now? You're muted, bro. You started talking, but you're muted. There we go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think he stays unless, like, he doesn't have really an incentive to leave besides if he wants to play, but he's already made it clear it's golf, Wales, and then Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would he leave? He's in a similar situation to Ozil and kind of De Gea, where they're already getting paid guap. Like, they're not going to go take a pay cut because they really want to go play somewhere.
Right.
And it's like, James is somewhat of that situation as well. But I think Bale, I think he leaves this season. I really don't know where. I've heard China and I've heard like MLS, but I would like to think he still has a good 3-4 years in him of like high of good years to play. What do you mean? He's a beast. And but yeah, I don't know. That's what I think he does. I don't know where he necessarily goes, but I think he has to leave.
Are you cool with that, Andres? A player of his caliber and his quality just riding the bench and riding out the final 2 years of his contract and knowing he's getting paid really well? His agent came out and said he loves life in Madrid, so he doesn't see him going anywhere. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I mean, he's come up clutch when he had to, when Ronaldo was there. It's not like he's a player that they lost money on. It was a great investment, I feel. They won a lot of trophies with him. He's like in a similar situation as Ozil, you know. They're not playing because maybe the coach doesn't see anything in them, or they're just not in the plans. And with their wages, they're just like, you know, you can get paid and kind of hang out if you want. You're not really part of the team anymore. So I feel like him, Ozil are in the same situation. I don't know. It just depends on whether they're going to take a pay cut or, you know, they're going to try to continue playing.
Right.
I think one player who has shown that, you know, they might still give a damn is like Alexis Sanchez. You know, he's making a ton of money and he's still showing that he wants to, you know, compete at a high level. So there's definitely, when you compare players, you don't see that from Bale.
But he left on loan. So it's like maybe Madrid will loan Bale, but they're probably still going to pay a bulk of that salary.
Yeah. I mean, he's also injured, so I don't know how many teams are going to take him on, or is injury prone. So he's getting older. Probably a good fit for, you know, a retirement league like MLS or China.
Yeah, you bring up a good point though, Frankie, because Madrid doesn't want to sell him for anything less than they bought him, and they're not going to sell him to like a direct rival. So they're in a weird position where, say they sell him on the low because he's going to get paid his money at another club. Now he's direct threat to Madrid, and you know, it's kind of a weird situation. So it's like, because this would be when they sell him, you know, 2 years left. Because after next year, he has all the leverage.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be an interesting summer or whatever.
Yeah, no, definitely still a player with quality, and like Andres said, definitely a player who's come up clutch with them. So I think it's a shame to see him conform to the fact that he's not going to play, right? I mean, it sucks. I can't blame a millionaire for sitting there and making millions for doing nothing necessarily.
He also said Madrid, golf, or you said Wales, golf, and Madrid. So publicly, so I'm pretty sure the club is like, well, okay, you're not going to play.
His attitude has been, I guess, questionable, right? Because there's that. Then there was him, you know, fake sleeping with his mask over his eyes, right, in the stands and just goofing off. But Zidane has also made it clear that he leaves him out for quote unquote technical decisions, right? He doesn't want to use him. So it is what it is. But yeah, you do say that is another good point. He does present an interesting situation because Alexis is a player who's on loan. And then just when it comes, again, De Gea is another one whose performance or consistency maybe hasn't been there anymore, but whose wages are just ridiculous, right? So it'll be interesting to see what Bale does after another La Liga victory and another trophy at Madrid with little to no participation. Again, quick shout out to Benzema and Ramos, who had stellar seasons for Real Madrid. Ramos coming in super clutch with a lot of important goals and just leadership. And Benzema, again, just kind of being the attack. Finished with 21 goals and I believe 8 assists. Easily their most attacking. I struggle to say consistent because he started well and then fell off for large patches of the season and then finished strong, right? But
because you got to think too, Madrid won without Jovic too, bro.
Yep.
And it's
Hazard,
like,
right? Hazard.
Where were the goals? Yeah, where were the goals coming from? And it was honestly random midfielders, Sergio Ramos, Benzema, the random wingers, and it's just like it was crazy. I don't know. It was they got the results, which is what champions do, you know. So,
yeah. Now,
crazy.
To finish and kind of wrap up for La Liga season, Messi finished the last match where they destroyed Alaves 5-0. He finished with 2 goals and an assist, bringing him to 25 goals for the season and 21 assists in La Liga. Incredible numbers, 20 and 20. Again, only the second person this century to do it since Thierry Henry. Second person to do it this century. And setting a La Liga record for most assists in a season. The record was 20 set by Xavi, and he broke it by 1 assist. So, I mean, what is there to say? What else is there to say about Messi, right? You can't. I don't feel like you can hold Barcelona's terrible season against him because clearly he dragged them as far as he possibly could, right? That's 50 goals pretty much that he contributed on in La Liga.
Well, you want to probably quote him, right? What did he come out to say after the loss?
Yeah, he came out swinging after the loss, saying that they were weak and inconsistent, and that the players knew, right, that it was going to be a lot of work, and that there was a lack of passion, and he spoke of ganas, right, garra, that the players didn't have that desire. So that says a lot from a player like Messi, who usually doesn't say a lot, right? This season we've seen him more and more come out and speak out in the media and on social media, and he was not happy. Which leads me to my final question on the Spanish teams. How do you think this sets up for both Real and Barcelona in the Champions League? Right, Barcelona started to show maybe some promise under Setien when he started tinkering with the diamond midfield and playing Ricky Puig and Ansu Fati more. Is that enough to get past Napoli and make some damage? Can Real Madrid, off the momentum and strength of winning La Liga, turn things around against City? I guess those are 2 different questions, so feel free to either answer one or both. But let's start with you, Andres. How does this affect them for Champions League?
Well, Barca's very much a wild card. I don't think they probably have enough to be Napoli, but moving forward, it's just hard to see them be a team like Bayern. I think De Jong was a big reason why they kind of slipped up in the league. He's kind of like in a way, an engine because he does the most running. So they're very, very much a wild card. I don't know which Barca you're going to get, a very slow Barca or a very, on point Barca. So they still have world-class players. You can't knock that from them. I think Madrid has a little harder time against City and, without Ramos as well, because Ramos is suspended with a red card. So I feel like that's a big loss in the defense. And like a leader, who besides Cruz, maybe, I don't know, Casemiro, Courtois, I don't know who would take that armband. Maybe Benzema. They still have a chance, though. Benzema does have like the 3rd most goals in Champions League, so he's not shy, to perform on the big stage. So for me, those teams are wild cards. Madrid has a little harder. Barca just has to play better. So I don't know, something there for me.
Don't Barca have important guys with cards in this?
I believe it was Busquets and or Vidal, one or both of them.
Both.
So in a ideal world, right? Barca fixes their midfield issues with this game because they're gonna have to play De Jong, Rakitic, and Puig, to me at least. But Barca seems to always find a way to screw it up or play something else, or they're going to try to do a diamond, or they're not going to play De Jong in what I would see as his optimal position in the hole.
Right.
And it's, or like, you know what I'm saying? Or they'll do like, you know what, we're going to throw Sergio Roberto in the mid, and we're going to bench Rakitic. I think kind of what Andres said, I think Barca is a wild card. They're probably going to have problems against Napoli. Napoli has quietly been winning all their games, even if it was on a 97th minute penalty, I think, or extra time goal. They present a lot of problems. That Barca is like their clear weaknesses: getting overran in the midfield, breaking on the counter. So I don't know, unless that mid clicks. You know, I think we've always been saying that their problems are in the mid. I think if they throw in De Jong, Rakitic, and Puig, or De Jong, Roberto, and Rakitic / Puig, I think they'll find something different that they're going to be forced to do, you know? Unless they go with that diamond thing again, which I don't know that it's yielded the best results. Barca seems to be playing super centrally, like they're having trouble getting width. But yeah, I don't know. I don't give them the best of chance. They do have Messi, but it's going to take a real inspired Messi to really will them through. As for Madrid, I think they don't really care if they win or lose. They already won La Liga, so it's like a successful season for them. I think that was what they were going to prioritize, even if they were going to be ran simultaneously. I thought the champs and the leagues were going to run at the same time, but they didn't. But I think it gives them a little bit more incentive now to really try to pull up an upset against City. But I just don't see them being able to score enough against City, even with City's defensive problems. So I don't. And then how you said it, those are key figures they're going to be missing in Ramos and well, just Ramos in general, and the defense, especially if they're going to have to come back and win. So I really don't give them a good chance in that tie. But I don't know. We'll see. City showed a lot of more weaknesses this weekend, so there's some hope there for Madrid if they do something similar. But I think City was gonna come out and attack and probably win easily.
Well, yeah, the Champions League resumes in August, so now Madrid, Barca joins Bayern, taking some time off, and I think as far as Barcelona is concerned, I agree with the term wild card. Right, they can go either way. Jekyll Hyde, they can show up and play some brilliant attacking exchanges with Messi and Suarez, right? Or they can just stink it up and be slow and labored like they have been, short of ideas. So yeah, that's a toss up there. Napoli's style is destined, like you said, to cause them problems, right? Gattuso's going to have them in there organized, ready to strike on the counter with players like Mertens, right, and Insigne. So it's going to be tough. And again, Madrid has got the whole away goals thing working against them, right? I think that's significant. And even if they do score against Man City, can they stop Man City from scoring? Madrid has been excellent defensively this year, but I think just City's got so many weapons, right? And with the lead, I think Barca gets past Napoli, but barely. And then after that, of course, they have to beat either Bayern or Chelsea, and Bayern's up on 3 goals on Chelsea, so it looks like Bayern. So it doesn't look good for them after that. In Madrid, of course, I'm ruling them out on the away goals, but hey, stranger things have happened, right? We've seen Barcelona come back in a remontada. We've seen Barcelona lose in 2 remontadas, right? So all kinds of craziness. So yeah, La Liga done and dusted for this year. We have another champion joining the likes of Liverpool. Elsewhere, it looks like Serie A, Juventus has kind of wrapped up their unprecedented ninth straight title. Lazio and Inter keep dropping points. Inter tied Roma this weekend 2-2 in what was a pretty good end-to-end match. Lazio lost to Juventus today after Ronaldo dropped another 2 goals. One, of course, a penalty, of course. And Immobile scored for Lazio. Regardless, Lazio is hurt, banged up, and just dropping points. And now they're down to 4th place, Lazio, after the last couple weeks. Inter is now 8 points behind Juventus in 2nd place. So while they're still 2nd, they're 8 points behind with 4 matches remaining. So it's not looking good for any of the alleged competitors, right? Again, for a second, it looked like Lazio could catch up. It looked like Inter could challenge. Atalanta had an outside chance of still catching up, but then they drew Juventus this past weekend as well, right? Which was another thrilling matchup. It looks like Juve is going to wrap it up despite not playing their best, despite not adapting to Sarri ball, despite not really having a midfield. But would you guys agree that it's done and dusted? It's over. Nobody's catching them.
Pretty much.
I think it's over. They beat
9 straight.
They beat all the challengers. They took most points against some of their, true contenders. I mean, even with a bad system, even with Sarri, they still have enough talent to win games in Serie A. So I don't know. They're an interesting team. They definitely had a lot of, VAR penalties, but I think that's just how life is going to be now with football. A lot of VAR penalties, and we just got to get used to that on both ends of the field. So you have, Ronaldo scoring penalties like it's a layup. So credit to him, 30 goals. That's impressive for someone like him. He'll definitely go down as a great goal scorer for scoring. I think 50 goals in all 3 different leagues, at least. So, and the fastest to 50 in Serie A. I think that seals it, and they're just gonna kind of prep for champions. Let's see how that goes.
I think the interesting point we were talking about today was that Higuain was going to start, and Sarri was going to go with CR7, Higuain, and Costa. And I guess Higuain was injured or got injured during the pregame. So they started Dybala, and it honestly looked like the best Juve today, but it also was against a weekend Lazio who was missing 5 starters. But there was a lot more intensity in their game today from Juve in terms of pressuring and marking everywhere. And Dybala was real sweet with the ball. Some of his dribbles are probably the best I've seen in a long time. He'd just be like orchestrating through the middle of the field. They were talking about how he's playing kind of how when he came onto the scene with Palermo, just right through the middle and kind of just causing a lot of problems. CR7 played a little closer to him today, so he was kind of like right off or right by Dybala, and I think that worked a lot. That worked really well, and I think that's what they're gonna have to do moving forward. I think they need to leave Higuain on the bench and use him as a sub, and go with Dybala, Costa, and CR7. Raboit has found some type of form in that midfield. Ramsey played today. He looked healthy. Things are kind of turning around for Juve in terms of just playing better. But I think, again, it kind of solidifies, not my theory, but just the bigger teams have more players. They're playing every 3 days. Like the smaller teams, they just don't have enough depth to really compete like that, Lazio's not going to have the same type of team every 3 days that they would do usually every week, for the league instead of. So it's like I think that really takes away from the run that a lot of those teams were making, because like it's like how you said, it was just like teams were just dropping points, not because they wanted to, but just like it would be a big game for Juve coming up, and right before their game, it was like Lazio lost. or Inter drew. And it was like there was never really a game where Juve really had to win. Remember, it got really close at one point, and then they still started dropping points, all the other teams. But yeah, kind of like Andres said, they have enough to win that league, and that's what they've done, and they've scored. And I think Dybala is there. He's been playing really good, and I've really been liking what I've been seeing from him in terms of they let him be in the middle, and CR7 comes up a little closer. But yeah, I mean, 9th in a row, that's kind of crazy. That means the 9 in a row. So props to you, man. Yeah, CR7.
I don't know what's more impressive, that CR7 got 30 goals this season, or that there's another player in Serie A that reached 30 goals as well. Him and Immobile are tied for the Italian Golden Boot right now.
Well, it's crazy because I think the Serie A people have the most goals, like in terms of the top 3, top 5 goal scorers.
Yeah,
they're all in Serie A. Messi won the Pichichi in Spain with what, 21 goals?
25.
25? He got 25? Yeah. Damn, he
Yeah.
snapped then. I thought it was 20. But yeah, that 30 goals. There's still 4 games?
Yeah, there's still 4 matches left in Italy, so he can potentially keep racking them
35?
up.
Yeah.
I believe Higuain has the record, right? And it was like 36, 30. It was in the high 30s, the Serie A. So unlikely, but even maybe still attainable even for him, which would be, again, really impressive in a third major competition. Do you think then that Juve is set to make a run in the Champions League? I think since CR7 joined 2 years ago, that's what the mark of success was always going to be, right? We know, like we said, like you guys have just said, that Juve's got what it takes no matter what to win in Italy, but they were always going to be judged on winning the Champions. Do they finally make a run at the Champions and take it? They've been in the final twice in the last decade. Is this the year for them now?
I'll go first if you want. I don't think so, but I think if they get City or Madrid, that's going to be a hell of a semifinal. And I think I like them more than Barca. I like them more than a lot of teams, and I think they're right there though. So it'll really be up to circumstances. But if that would be a juicy tie, Juventus City.
Yeah,
I really like that. I wouldn't say they're my go-to, but I think they're making their case right now.
We're also assuming that they get past Lyon because at the moment they're down 1-0.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
But I think it's safe to say that they get past Lyon. What do you think, Andres? Are they primed to possibly challenge a City or a Bayern in the Champions?
I think Ronaldo is heating up at the right moment, and we all know what Ronaldo can do in Champions League. He's the best goal scorer in its history. Quarterfinals, semifinals, you always see Ronaldo show up. It's not like his name isn't on the score sheet. So I think they just have to ride out momentum. Maybe they end the Italian Serie A scoring goals, and that's what you want in a knockout competition is goals. If Dybala and CR7 kind of show that they're like a really deadly duo moving forward, then yeah, they move on up in my personal rankings, I'd say. But it's going to be interesting to see how they just continue playing until Champions starts. They definitely do have enough in Dybala and Ronaldo to go all the way in a way, but we'll see.
And the depth, right? They just got to get the right combination. Really interesting stuff. I personally didn't watch the match today. I saw the highlights, but I did have the same observations. Dybala is inspired right now, right? And if he can get him and Ronaldo firing like they have been, right? When Serie A resumed, they did the first 3 or 4 matches where both of them scored in the first matches after the resumption of play, right? So they can definitely be dangerous. And I would say they're probably one of the more defensively sound teams remaining, right? You can't go wrong with center back pairing of either Chiellini and Bonucci or De Ligt and Bonucci, right? And Alexandro and Danilo, they've got options there, and defensive. Again, they just got to get the right mix, I feel like, in mid, right? They have options. Rabiot, like Johnny said, has been playing and getting games and minutes, and he scored a golazo not too long ago. Ramsey's fit and playing. Betancourt has been starting, right? Matuidi has been starting. Pjanic is still there. So just a wealth of options, right?
I think they're missing a left field threat, though, or like someone who pushes up on the left side. Because that's my one critique of them. I think they played everything through the right with Costa or just up the middle. Like CR7 really isn't going out to the wings and taking on guys how he used to. He's in this weird position where he doesn't really want to play center forward, but he doesn't really want to be a winger, but he wants to be the forward scoring the goals. So he's like right up there, you know, but he doesn't really stretch out the field on the left side. And I don't think the mid has been helping out, and Sandro hasn't been having a great year. That'd be my only knock on them. I think some teams are better balanced than who Juventus is.
Well, we'll see, because they spent a lot of money to bring Ronaldo to finally win that Champions League. So it looks like they're picking up a head of steam, picking up momentum, and starting to click before that returns and before they play their second leg to Lyon. So keep an eye out for Juve. They're heating up, right? Like we like to say. And yeah, Serie A, 4 more matches. So keep an eye out and see how it winds down. Highly doubt anything crazy happens, but yeah.
Yeah, my bad. Kind of just question. Is it safe to say if City would play Juve right now, you guys would take Juve, or who would you take? Obviously, form and their ties are still to play, but
I think it'd be a good matchup.
To me, that's really looking like the tie, but I think right now, Juve would win, but like how we said, stuff changes a lot in 2-3 days, 2-3 games, you know? So, but I don't know. I just want to kind of hear your thoughts.
I think
go for it.
Yeah. All right. I think Sarri probably has his biggest challenge deciding who to put on the field, because obviously, like you said today, he obviously had an informed player in Dybala and wanted to start Higuain, which maybe was to get Higuain in form as well. But it depends on who, like you guys have been saying, if they get the right mix. Pep is also one that kind of tweaks his teams last minute, and they don't know what they're, both teams struggle with consistency. So it depends. I don't know. These coaches don't really stick with one team like Liverpool, same starting 11 every game. So it's really hard to tell who's going to be playing and what the coaches see that we don't. But I probably would favor City just on more offensive power.
Yeah, I think it's too close to call. I don't know. I think what we saw from City recently, and especially this weekend, is they're prone to individual mistakes defensively.
Yeah.
Which can be dangerous against, the Dybalas, the Ronaldos, right? But similarly, Juventus hasn't been all there all season. Like Andres said, consistency is an issue for both of these clubs. But what I do think is whoever wins that tie is probably going to go win it all the way.
They would still have to face the winner of
the Bayern. Yeah.
Barca.
I think either
assuming Barca wins or Bayern Napoli.
I'm not ruling Bayern out, right? But I think that'll prime whoever up, right? Because Bayern's going to get Barca or Napoli, right? And they're probably, that I think, Juve or Man City. This has got to be this is the closest that they can get, right? I'm also forgetting about PSG, right? But I've never really considered PSG a legit Champions League contender. They're getting closer, but not yet. And then finally to kind of wrap up today, we'll jump to England. This last week in England was interesting because we had FA Cup action as well as league action. So I'll start with the FA Cup. Arsenal shocked City in the first semifinal. on Saturday. It was 2-0 Arsenal. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang once again coming in clutch, proving to probably be Arsenal's most important player, and scoring this 24th Premier League goal, scoring 2 and getting to 24 this season. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was for the FA Cup, so it doesn't matter. I'm doing wrong math. But either way, he scored 2 goals, which is clutch. And City had no answers. They had a couple times where they came close. Sterling, in particular, wasted a few good opportunities. And Arsenal, again, I say, shocks City and makes it to the final of the FA Cup. I guess I'll speak briefly about Arsenal. I think some of their most, I guess, controversial players, or players that we talk about or laugh about the most, actually had a pretty good game for once. I'm talking about the Mustafis, the David Luiz, the Granit Xhakas. They looked pretty solid throughout this match. Of course, the match winner was Aubameyang. But those players looked decent. I also like what I've been seeing from Kieran Tierney. They've been playing him kind of as like a left wing back / left mid, and he's been doing pretty well since he came back from injury. I didn't expect Arsenal to win, so I will agree that this was surprising. What do you guys make of City's defeat? Is this bad look on them? Is this just, like Andres was saying, another more proof that they're inconsistent? Do we make anything of this at all?
I'll let you go first.
I think that just proves they're inconsistent, and that is a bad sign when you're prepping for a Champions League run, because knockout competition, and you're losing to Arsenal. I mean, Pep said that he respects them on the pitch, but other than that, he doesn't respect Arsenal. Like, fuck Arsenal. Excuse my language, but basically what he said. I don't know. Maybe Arteta knew. Maybe Arteta finally figured out Pep and his weakness and where he could probably do a little bit more damage. Maybe through the fullbacks. Definitely saw a lot of passes through there, but I feel like City, they're prone to having these games, and it doesn't happen once. It happens now probably every 3-4 games, so it's concerning. That's my only knock on them, is they'll completely just shoot on goal and not score, or Sterling will miss 5 goals, or players don't show up. I don't know. It doesn't bode well for City, but credit to Arsenal.
I mean, I think it's a lot of things. I think City, how you said, they haven't been consistent all year in terms of staying healthy. Aguero was injured, and the drop that is from Aguero to Jesus, who I didn't even know if he started, is significant. I think they might have started Sterling in the middle. I can't remember, but if Aguero's not playing, City don't look as dangerous. Sterling benefits off of the movement that Aguero does in the middle a lot to get open for his goals. And Mahrez I think they had 16 shots, 1 on target. So it's not for a lack of wanting to win or trying to dominate. I think Arteta did a really good job. He knows the team already. So I think they only had 4 shots, 4 or 5. Arsenal did. I think he prepped the team to kind of counter. They've been showing some heart, but I don't really take that much out of it besides that Aubameyang is a star. I think it makes for an interesting final, because even though I think Chelsea is the better team, I think Aubameyang will be the best player on the field. So if he wins that by himself, for which he probably can, he just took out City by himself. I mean, like those plays, like those goals, not any player will make those, That's like elite, especially off the first goal with the punta, with the
one touch.
Yeah, and then the second one, just pure blistering speed. Oh, which is my other point. I don't know what's up with Pep, but Pep does not practice the defense. The second goal, Walker was snoozing. I can't remember who it was on the left side, but that player should have moved forward with the last defender and therefore would have left Aubameyang offside. But Pep keeps having this thing where I don't know if he thinks he doesn't need to practice defense, or if he doesn't rate his freaking $300 million defense because he has a bunch of players that they bought, But
yeah,
I think he needs to tidy it up back there. Where sometimes I think he focuses too much on the offense and the style, and he gets a little complacent or lazy in terms of defending. I think the second they should do better defensively. I think Arteta was smart. He kind of picked his moments of when they wanted to attack, and they got the best out of City. But that's really all I'll take of it. I don't think City's like the worst. I still think they're a good team. They dominated the game for the most part. They just weren't efficient and able to score.
Could it be that they just prioritized the Champions League a bit more, or they just switched off for the cup?
I think it's just they've been irregular all year when it comes to these. Like, they honestly didn't need to win the FA Cup. I mean, it is a little bit more concerning, though. You're right. Like, I feel like it's a reoccurring thing, which is why I mentioned earlier too, over talking or texting. Like, the Champions League is really up for anyone. There's gonna be interesting, but I think City just needs to work a little more on defense. But I was also hearing like people are like they're not getting anything from their fullbacks. From Walker or from
Mendy.
Yeah. So that's been leaving them a little bit short when it comes to offense,
Yeah, they don't offer the same attacking that you usually expect from a Pep fullback. And
then Pep got his subs wrong again this game. I think he took off Gundogan and Mahrez and threw in Phil Foden and another mid, or I think he took off Silva, but it wasn't the subs that he needed to make. And I think, I don't know, I think City is I think they're just also a little fatigued from the high standards they have for themselves, It's a lot of games they've been playing. I mean, really, like a 3-year stretch if you're like since Pep's been there.
Yeah.
And I think I read the stat that they've won 8 out of 11 domestic trophies or something. I think Andres was saying it the other day. But that's what I think. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree. I think it is part of their inconsistently, part of just their weaknesses this season. But also, I feel like it may have something to do with this is the only competition Arsenal can win, right? I feel like Arteta knows this, and maybe the players is like a pride thing, right? They know they're not going to win the Premier League. They're not alive in any other European competition. This is it for them because they're probably not even going to qualify for Europa right now. It's not looking like they're going to qualify for Europe. So I think it was a little bit of urgency on the Arsenal players' part too, right? Knowing that that this is it. This is the one thing they can win. And let's not forget, Arsenal's got a nice little run in the FA Cup in modern times. They've won the Cup 2 or 3 times in recent history. I know Arteta won it. I know he lifted the FA Cup as a captain. I think it was either in 2014 or 2015. But I believe there was at least two seasons in a row where Arsenal won the FA Cup. So it's definitely a competition that they're used to winning, and definitely the only thing that they were getting close to calling a success for this year. So I definitely think that contributes as well. So I think both are factors, right? In the other semifinal, Chelsea and Manchester United played each other for the 4th time this season, twice in the league, once in, I want to say, the League Cup, right? Or in another competition. And now they're playing they played in the FA Cup again. This time, Chelsea finally came out victorious on the 4th attempt. They beat United this season 3-1. And it wasn't even really that close. United didn't show up to play, really. They scored late after Chelsea had already scored 3 goals. And I think the biggest headline or the biggest thing to read into this game wasn't just that United was kind of lackluster. You kind of expected it. They had gone, 18 matches undefeated, right? So at some point they were going to lose. Some point they were going to run out of steam. But I think the biggest thing to note about United was David De Gea. This is the highest paid goalkeeper in the world right now. Recently signed to an extension a year ago by United in 2019. and he was at fault for at least 2 of the goals. Some say all 3, but definitely 2 of the goals. He had some errors that definitely helped Chelsea win this match. So, what do you guys? Is this on De Gea mostly? Or what else are you reading into it? Was it finally United was due for a bad match? Is this a sign of concern for them going into the run in this weekend to qualify for Champions League? What are your thoughts on De Gea and United just going down the way they did to Chelsea? Let's start with you, Andres.
As a player, I feel like De Gea definitely set the tone with his blunder for that match. I feel like maybe the second goal he could have saved, as Solskjaer was saying in his interview. When you have someone in the back that you can't trust, it makes things a little bit harder. Chelsea definitely showed a little bit more than United. The starting lineup wasn't what they're used to, going with. It was kind of a different team with Igalo coming in and Fred playing. So it wasn't a game that was comfortable for United from the start. I don't know. They have Europa League still to go for, so they definitely have a lot on their plate. I don't think a FA Cup is really their priority, like Arsenal, like you mentioned.
Okay.
They definitely have, top 4 spots still fight for, and I mean, for them it was kind of like, we're here, we'll try to make the best of it, and credit to Chelsea, they finally beat us. So I think they'll just put it behind them and then focus on top 4 or Europa.
What do you think, Johnny?
This is what I was waiting for this whole show. I think Man U. Because look, coming into this game, I'm like, I've been talking a lot of shit about United, and I'm like, you know what? If they win Saturday or Sunday, they're really gonna shut me up, and I'll start giving Ole some credit. But nope, here he comes and messes up the starting lineup. Starts making excuses about that they've only have 2 days rest, and then starts shifting gears towards prioritizing 4th place when this is still a trophy, a pretty nice one to win. And then they've already been beating Chelsea, and he puts off. It was just not what I want. Like, this is not what you expect when you think of United. Obviously, they're not the same United that they used to, but if they're trying to look anything toward what I remember United as, or what we all come to expect of them, like, they shouldn't have done that. They should have fielded their best attacking side. And I don't know. I'm just not convinced with Gunnar. Like, I don't think I think he's been doing a really good job, and this was kind of a opportunity for him to really, like, convince me at least that he's the guy for the job. Even if they go on and win Europa, or even, like, I do think they're going to finish top 4, which is, I guess, what he's the real objective. But Man U is a club that should just have, like, aspire to win everything, and it was really disappointing to see. They just came out very flat, and then it was the De Gea goal, the first one. He was not completely at fault. I think he could have done a little better, but I think it was more on Lindelof or whatever. And then the second one definitely messed up, but we've been seeing that already for a while. I don't know what to make of it besides he's just not focused. I don't think it's a thing of him sucking all of a sudden, but I do think that it's more of he's not feeling the competition either from the second goalkeeper or from Ole himself, Like, I know he's backed them up. That he's like, he hasn't even thought about subbing him out, but like, that's more of a mental lapse that he keeps having instead of I don't think it's that. I'm not doubting his skill. I think it's something else. Because like what you said, or what we kind of been talking about on the show, or like, these guys just get paid so much that they kind of they're just out there at some point. Yeah, exactly. I think that's more what it is. But United they let go of a really good opportunity in my eyes for them to prove something to me, and it kind of throws everything out the window for me, at least. Their 19-game win streak was not that impressive to me. All these clean sheets, like, I don't know. I don't know I'm not convinced with United, and I don't think Gunnar should be the coach.
I think you brought up something important, right? Is history and context, right? Is we're used to the Fergie teams, and I think you brought up an excellent point. The Fergie teams would go all out and try to win everything all the time, right? Even in the 85th minute of a match that they're losing, right? And so I totally get what you're saying when you said it was super disappointing to see him field a weaker starting 11, and it was definitely a competition that they could have won, and you're saying that historically United goes out to try to win, so I think that's very important, right? And I think that needs to be taken into context, right? Is United fans and our generation, millennials in general, grew up with United being the biggest club in the world and winning 13 Premier Leagues and then having some of the best players ever, right? So, and the best coach ever. So, yeah, definitely in the big picture, I can understand why you're hesitant. Not that, and that's the wrong phrase. I was going to say not give him credit, but why you're struggling to see. And I think it's important, right? What you said too is three of the, I think, most important players that they have right now that were performing well for them, Pogba, Greenwood, and Martial, all did start this match, right? So definitely can understand why he would not prioritize the FA Cup, but I also understand your criticism of that, right? United is a big club that it goes out for all titles, so definitely hard to digest or process that, knowing what we know about Manchester United. Flip side, Chelsea. Who would have thought that with the transfer ban, with first-year Premier League coach Frank Lampard, they're still in the running for 3 competitions. I mean, mathematically, it's hard to see them coming back in the Champions League against Bayern Munich, but now they're in the final for the FA Cup, and they're going to finish for a Champions League spot. Big success for Chelsea, yes?
Yeah. Yeah, especially what you said. How much money did Lampard spend this summer? 0, nothing. And I keep hearing now that Havertz is almost like a done deal.
For 70
for
mil
Chelsea.
Is the last one.
So Chelsea is starting to mold into like the teams that are doing good right now, kind of high flying offense, you know. They still need to address the back, but Chelsea's a good team. They know how to play. They know what they're doing, you know. To me, I've seen them play a good amount of times now. I think they play just very good, sound football. Like, they're not even at that stage where they're trying to be flashy or impressive. Like, everyone is just trying to prove and really win and just like go out and play, you know. There's nothing fancy of anything that I've seen from this squad, you know. They're all just hard working, trying to score goals and win.
Giroud, right, with the experience off the bench, helping them. He's been clutch in important situations for Chelsea this season, right? We saw the stat earlier where we debated the importance of Christian Pulisic, right, who's got, 9 goals and 8 assists or something like that so far this season, in his first season in Chelsea, right? The numbers for Mason Mount are pretty good as well, right, who we're saying maybe competes with Pulisic for minutes and position, right? But, yeah, contributions from young players that you didn't expect, considering, right, the transfer ban and considering that there's a Lampard's first year. So, I mean, even if they lose the FA Cup final, I think it's still a big success for Lampard and for Chelsea in general. And next year, they're looking like they're probably the biggest threat, I think, to the Liverpool Man City domination, right? We're talking Werner and Ziyech added to this attacking threat. Giroud is coming back to offer some experience and goals off the bench. Pulisic is going to be in his second season. Hudson-Odoi should be a little bit more healthy, right, if he sticks around.
They got the money. Yeah, they got the money to spend, and they're probably going to sell two or three of these guys.
They need defense, but Chelsea has just had a great season. And I think now I would pick them to win the FA Cup over Arsenal. What do you guys think?
I think Giroud has been to the FA Cup 5 times, or he has been. I don't think he has been. So he's going to definitely offer a lot of leadership up top. Arteta is doing a great job with Arsenal and, kind of giving them belief that they are on the right path. History is kind of on Arsenal's side. So I'm going to take Arsenal. I just think, like Johnny said, Aubameyang probably a little more clinical. And Chelsea, at times, they tend to shut off. They're not always, high gear, high flying. They took advantage of a sleepy, very, error-prone Manchester United. And I don't think if Arsenal show up as a cohesive unit, they should probably win this game, is what I think.
Oof, yeah, I don't know. Or go ahead.
We'll make our picks like official picks as it gets closer because I believe it's on August 1st. But I'm picking Chelsea. Andres is picking Arsenal. What about you?
I think it's even match. I think what I said earlier. I think Aubameyang is the best player on the field. So I think he can really probably win it by himself. Not to discredit the whole team or whatever, but if I can definitely see him scoring and Arsenal just having to pay the man and build around him, I don't know if this is because it's like what we say. This is what happens in football. Arsenal beat the top 2 teams in England 2 weeks back to back, and all of a sudden we're like, man, they're great, or they're gonna be good. Like, I think Arsenal more than anything is at least showing signs of Arteta, like being the guy, like he's the guy, and that's the thing that I don't get from Gunnar at United. I feel like he's proving every game he's trying to prove or try to keep his job, whereas Arteta is like he's really instilling something in the players, and I don't know. But I think it's pretty even. I am leaning toward Chelsea though.
I do have one criticism for this United Solskjaer argument that you're saying, though. I feel like you can definitely see a difference in how United attack with Gunnar Solskjaer. They're kind of a little bit more faster, fluid. Not always, but they are getting there. And this is only a couple games since the full team has been playing. So I think Arteta is just kind of like your Klopp, Pep figure where, players look up to him, whereas Solskjaer probably isn't that figure for United. But, I mean, Lampard as well. I mean, these players kind of look up to great players of the club's history, like Solskjaer, the troubled team, Lampard, greatest scoring midfielder, So I feel like they kind of take an embodiment of how they played, and that's how they field their teams. So maybe Solskjaer doesn't really manage everyone, just kind of tells everyone this is how we're gonna play fluid attacking soccer, and this is what shows. But he's not really like the Klopp figure that we're used to seeing in other clubs.
He's a man manager, not an innovator, which I can see as well. The other thing too, I kind of feel like Johnny too. When United permanently kept Solskjaer, I thought it was too soon. I didn't think he had shown enough. But I guess, like you said, the players really respect him. He's a club legend there. And he knows, I guess, the club culture, and the club in and out, which must go a long way, right? Because both him and Lampard are coming from relatively little to no experience at this level and having relatively... And I guess this is why we have trouble calling it success too, or defining what success is, because both Chelsea and Manchester United have been extremely successful in the past. So to say that them finishing 3rd and 4th is a success is kind of far-fetched, right? It almost doesn't make sense to say. But I think Solskjaer, the one thing I will give him credit for is doing what historically United has done in the Premier League and promote those youth players. He's come in and he hasn't been afraid to play the Greenwood, right? Before Solskjaer came in, I had never heard of Mason Greenwood, right? I think he's doing a good job of incorporating the youth and incorporating what's available there at the club and working with what he's got. I will say the same thing. I do feel like the same thing I thought when Zidane started coaching. I don't think he is necessarily like a brilliant tactician, right, or innovator, like I already said. But hey, look at Zidane now. He's got 11 trophies, right? So I'm not on Johnny's, I guess, on the fence and not sold. I'm a little bit more not hesitant. I'm still. It's hard for me to be like, yeah, all Gunnar Solskjaer, the manager of one of the biggest clubs in the world, right? But since they went, so when he joined, they went up. Then they kind of peaked and plateaued for a second, and then after that rough patch, it's been all up. So. That being said, I think they finished in the top 4. I think this weekend the Premier League wraps up. I think they finished just like that. Chelsea in 3rd, and United in 4th. Right now, Chelsea's in 3rd on 63 points, and Leicester and United are tied for 4th on 62. But Leicester has played an extra match. They lost to Spurs 3-0. Spurs showing signs of life, and showing that as long as Harry Kane is healthy, they're dangerous. You can't rule them out. Spurs out of the nowhere, looking this weekend very Mourinho-esque, right? Very organized in defense and very devastating on the counter. 2 of their goals were lethal out of the nowhere counterattacks. And again, Harry Kane just needed those 2 sets of goals to get 2 goals for himself. So Spurs, I don't think, is going to reach the top 4. They're obviously going to compete for Europa spots, possibly still with the likes of Arsenal and Wolves and United. Because now I think Leicester, guys, even falls out of the type 4. Leicester's in a free fall. They've got injuries. This game they played against Spurs, they played without their starting right back and left back, who are out injured, Chilwell and Pereira. And then their center back was out. Soyuncu was out. Madison is out injured. It just looks like they're running out of steam. It looks like they started the first half of the season really well, but they're kind of limping to the end. So Chelsea in 3rd for me. United finished 4th. And I think maybe even Wolves can finish 5th. I can see Leicester spilling all the way down to 6th or something like that. But I think Wolves and Leicester finish in that 5th or 6th spot. What do you guys think?
I think it's a tough ask for Chelsea to stay in 3rd. They have to probably take most points from Liverpool and Wolves, which are very 2 tough games. I'm not sure if Liverpool is just going to gift them a win. I think they still have to show who they are moving forward. I think it's going to be definitely a challenge for them. And then, like we've been saying all year, the season was poised to end probably on the final game. So for me, it's going to be the United-Leicester City game that kind of decides who's going up and who's staying down. So
you think United could finish 3rd?
If they win, they have to beat West Ham and Leicester. They're definitely a possibility. They could definitely finish 3rd, and Chelsea could definitely just drop out of top 4.
So what are 2 teams do you have finishing then in 3rd and 4th? In no particular order, which 2 do you have getting the final 2 Champions League spots?
I think it's probably going to be United, and shock result, Leicester City.
Leicester gets in 4th?
Yeah, and I think that ruins Chelsea's Champions League plans and throws it all. I'm all for the chaos. I'm here all for the chaos. So.
Oh, Chelsea fans, look away. We're about to get that.
I just don't see them. I just don't see them beating Liverpool, even though I see Liverpool as on and off. But Liverpool probably just they have to show life, and Salah and them, they still quality. I don't see that as a win for Chelsea. And then Wolves as well. Wolves has been playing some. It's going to be a great game for that final game, Chelsea Wolves, because both teams want to play for something. Wolves probably for a Europa spot. They have players like Traoré, Jimenez. They have a great midfield, so definitely it's going to come down to the last game of the season.
But Leicester still has to play United, right? So it can very likely end with Leicester on 62 points, United on, more than that, and Chelsea already has more than that too. So, but you do bring up a good point. Chelsea's got a tough run in. They got to play Liverpool and Wolves, which are two top teams. So that's not a point. I mean, I knew the schedule and had looked at it, but I just in that moment had forgot about that. But that's a good point. Chelsea's got a tough run in. So you've got United and Leicester. Okay, what about you, Johnny?
I'll probably just go with you, Chelsea and Man U.
I can see Chelsea getting maybe a draw in both of those matches. 2 points out of the remaining 2 matches that they have, right? But I don't see Leicester getting past United, and I see United beating West Ham, obviously, and being able to beat Leicester. So I think basically what I'm saying is it's unfavorable to Leicester because Leicester only has 1 match left, and it's against United, right? Chelsea has a little bit more. Chelsea and United have a little bit more leeway. And again, I hate to not mention Wolves as much, right? But Wolves, again, has the tougher lead up. They got to play. They won today. Again, Wolves.
But all is not lost for Wolves. They can still win Europa League and make a top 4. So I can see them, kind of feeling bad.
They have the harder draw.
But they have a hard draw, in Europa. So they have a longer road, a harder road to get a top 4 if they miss out. But definitely for them, they want a European competition, so they're going to play for it,
So you don't see Leicester falling out, though, of the Champions League spots?
I don't know how they're still in 4th place. They've given us really no reason why they should be there, but out of nothing, they pull out a win against Sheffield, and all of a sudden they're still back, on 4th place. We'll see how they do in the last game.
When's the last time anybody was this excited for 3rd and 4th place, right? Only in the Premier League. Yeah. Where we've known the champion, but it's going to come down to the last day. Who's going to get those Champions League spots, which are so crucial. So again, if you've never watched the Premier League, or if you've been snoozing on it recently or since the restart, this weekend is when to watch it, because there's going to be a lot of drama as far as determining those crucial European spots. So we'll definitely be making our picks for that, because some teams in England have 2 matches. They all have definitely at least 1, and everybody plays the final match on Sunday. So Sunday will be the day to be on NBCSN, folks. One other thing, miscellaneous things to kind of wrap up this week's show before we make some picks. Another quick shout out to Messi. I know we mentioned that he had 25 goals and 21 assists and broke the assist record for La Liga, but he also is now the 7-time Pichichi in La Liga. For those of you who don't know what the Pichichi is, it's the Golden Boot for Spain, the highest scorer. He's now won it 7 times. He spent his whole career in Spain, but the legendary Telmo Zarra had 6. I know one of my favorite players, Hugo Sanchez, they called him El Penta Pichichi because he won it 5 times. Messi has now won the Golden Boot for Spain 5 times now, or 7 times now. So just to kind of add to the myth of the man there. So shout out to him for that. Also, quick shout out to Leeds United. Leeds United, a historic club in England. A lot of people don't know this, but Leeds is huge. It's one of the bigger clubs in England. A lot of people support Leeds. They're coming back to the Premier League after at least a decade in the lower divisions. Marcelo Bielsa, El Loco, Has been their coach for the last 2 years and has managed to bring them back up to the Premier League. So I have no real personal attachment or stake in Leeds United, but I'm happy to see them back in the top division. When we were young, they were even in the Champions League. In 04, 05, they had players like Rio Ferdinand and Harry Kewell, and I think other big names that played there at United before they went down to the lower division. So shout out to Bielsa, shout out to Leeds United, and it's good to see them again.
Who's up for relegation then? I think Norwich is already done.
Norwich City's going down. I think Bournemouth is going down. And there's one more.
There's Villa and Watford.
Oh, yeah. Watford.
I think Villa saved themselves already.
Well, they play Arsenal.
Or no, that's West Ham. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
West Ham is saved.
Yeah. But Norwich City's already down, right? And then we have down.
Yeah,
Bournemouth is down already. So
that Bournemouth team is getting rated for its best players, I'm assuming.
We're already hearing rumors of Nathan Ake going to potentially Man City, the former Chelsea center back who's been at Bournemouth for the last couple of years and been under the radar good. Looks like he's going to be joining Laporte as the center back pairing there at City. I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but just so that you've got that on your radar as well. And then finally, kind of the last thing I wanted to bring up before we go to picks. The Ballon d'Or is canceled, guys. France Football, which gives out the award annually, has said that due to the COVID interruption, they are canceling this year's award. So I think we can all agree that Robert Lewandowski is getting shafted, right? He was going to win it. He should have won it, and now he won't.
Ramos, Messi, Benzema, all these players that could have won it, yeah. And, I mean, I can understand why, because so many leagues canceled or the French league canceled, and, you really can't compare players when they didn't finish their season. Feels weird not to have an individual award, but at the same time, it's been a weird season with the restart and the pandemic, so it's definitely not. It's hard to pick a winner. You probably have to go based off, personal stats instead of kind of like their importance to the team and their run in champions. France Football was basically just like, no Ballon d'Or, no French league, no nothing this year. Cancel season, right?
Do you think it was? There was a couple candidates for it. You don't think it was Lewandowski?
I very much think it was Lewandowski. I mean, a lot of people probably believe it because he's probably been the best striker all year. Messi definitely up there as well. People have like Virgil and Benzema and Ramos.
I think CR7's got to be in that conversation too, considering the 30 goals and another title, right? Messi didn't win a title, but those numbers are ridiculous. So I think he's got to be in the conversation. And Lewandowski could very potentially win a treble, and his goal-scoring numbers are off the charts. So I think any of those three would have been decent. I would have given it to any of those three, but I think Lewandowski this season would have been the most deserving, honestly.
Yeah, he had like 10 goals in Champions League group stages already, so he was on pace, to have a really high-scoring campaign as well.
Man,
yeah, 50 goals.
I was joking with Rafa that it would be the year that it looks like Messi or Ronaldo aren't going to win it, that it gets canceled, right?
Yeah, I don't know how. I didn't feel any way about it, but I think they still should have had it. It's just that whole France connection. Whatever Andre said. No French league, no nothing. Yeah.
They do nothing
Canceled, right?
They still got the FIFA's the best though.
Yeah, they can still do. Yeah, they still have the FIFA award. So I guess that'll be the big one to watch for this year, right?
Yeah.
Because I think this last couple years they've been the same, right? Messi won the Ballon d'Or and won the best, right?
I think they had been favoring Real Madrid, to be honest. CR7, but we'll get to that when it comes, I guess. But ideally, Lewandowski has been the best player, I think, or goal scorer, won the league. Messi has that against him that he hasn't won the league. But say he wins the Champions, and then all of a sudden you're like, that's the best player.
Yeah, no. Again, it would have been a kind of a toss-up. I agree. One last shout-out, I guess. Man, I just had it and I forgot it off the top of my head. I thought of a shout-out, didn't write it down.
To a player?
And now I forgot it. Crap. No, it might have been something else. I can't even remember anymore. But yeah, I guess we'll go straight into the picks for this week. They're mostly, at this point, there's only Premier League matches and Serie A matches. So it's 4 Premier League matches and 2 Italian League matches for this week. So here we go. United versus West Ham on Wednesday, the 22nd at noon on NBCSN. What do you guys got?
I got United.
Yeah. Samies.
United. I got United as well. I think they bounce back from this first loss in a while.
Yeah, it's better to get the loss out now than in the league. So, he'll probably pick his same starting 11 with, Mason Greenwood, Pogba, Fernandes, etc., Martial, Rashford.
Against an already saved West Ham who has nothing to play for.
Yeah.
That's what Gunnar really Solskjaer rested players for.
There you go. That's another good point, right? Is okay, if you're going to prioritize, what are you really prioritizing? That's an excellent point. Moving on. Liverpool versus Chelsea. Andres has already stated that this could be huge in the run-in. This is also on Wednesday, the 22nd, immediately after United versus West Ham at 2:15. Who do you guys got, Liverpool or Chelsea?
Man, don't fail me now, but I got Liverpool. And every time I go Liverpool, they tend to draw or lose. And I'm just like, wow. When I don't shit on them, they fucking win. But, yeah, I think they have enough to win. Still Liverpool. I mean, how can you go against them?
What do you got, Johnny?
I mean, I don't know. I want to say draw, but I don't know. I'll go Chelsea. I think Liverpool don't even care anymore. They're like, oh, but they is this the game they would lift the trophy at?
No.
Oh, then yeah, I'll definitely go with Chelsea.
Damn.
I'm gonna go draw just because I feel like Liverpool is switched off, and Chelsea feels the heat, right? They feel those teams right behind them right there that could potentially finish in those spots. So I mean, again, Liverpool is switched off, but it's still Liverpool. They're still the champions. So I'm prepared for like a 1-1. So I'll go with the draw. Then we jump to the final day of the season on Sunday. Everybody playing on Sunday. Leicester versus United. Who you guys got? This is at 10 a.m. That's the other thing that's irking about the last day of the season is everybody plays at the same time. So all of these Premier League matches on Sunday will be on at the same time, 10 a.m. on NBCSN. Leicester versus United. Who's it going to be?
I'll go draw.
Yeah, I got United.
United. I got United in that one as well. So Andres and I are picking United to win twice in the next week. We'll see how that goes. Also on Sunday, once again at 10 a.m., also, I guess, on NBCSN or one of the NBC affiliates because they'll all be on at the same time. Chelsea versus Wolves, another one with pretty huge implications in the race for European spots. Who you guys got?
I got a draw for that game. I'm pretty much sticking with Chelsea, crashing out. Except I don't know if the way I called it leads to a Chelsea crashing out scenario.
Yeah, I don't think it does from what you said.
Right?
Or maybe it does. No, because you picked. Yeah, it does because you picked Liverpool, and you picked United.
Yeah.
So that means Chelsea lose points. And
yes, you are true. You are on brand. You are staying consistent.
Okay. So yeah, then I got the draw.
What about you, Johnny?
I'll take Wolves.
Ooh.
I think Chelsea loses, but it doesn't matter because United will draw and Chelsea will beat Liverpool. But I want to say that I think it was a shame Wolves didn't have more players, enough depth. But I'll say it again, too. I think Wolves should have 6 more points than they have currently, and United should have 6 less points than they have currently. Because I feel like a lot of calls went against Wolves' way. Just off the top, the Liverpool game when they called that goal offside, that would have been 3 points against, and they would have beat Liverpool, been the first team to beat them. But I got Wolves. Jimenez scores again. He's been scoring literally every game.
And his last goal was a golazo.
And then, yeah.
The half volley. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think Wolves will have a strong showing. I just think Chelsea can score as well. So I'm going to go with Andres on this one and pick the draw because I think both teams will come out pretty strong. And, yeah, shout out Jimenez having a great season, all-time high-scoring Mexican in the Premier League now, and high-scoring forward for Wolves. Not just forward player in the Premier League. Nobody scored more goals in the Premier League for Wolves than Raul Jimenez now has. So that's awesome. Now, guys, we switch gears to the Italian League, Serie A. On Wednesday, 7/22, that's July 22nd, at 2:45 on ESPN+, we have Inter versus Fiorentina. Fiorentina hasn't been the best lately, but they're a historic club in Italy. And Inter's in second place, and they need to make up some ground, especially during this match if they want to catch Juve at all. Who do you guys got? You got Inter bouncing back after a draw?
I got Inter winning, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Conte called out Eriksson for being too nice. I think he showed some life there. Alexis Sanchez is playing well.
Oh, yeah. That's one I remember my 2 shout-outs now. Quick shout-out to Alexis Sanchez, who since the return has been involved in at least 7 goals, right? Or he's got something crazy like 7 assists since the return of Serie A. Looks like once he finally got some rest, he came back like a different player because I think Alexis' biggest problem was that for years he was just playing constantly. He was carrying Arsenal for a while. Then he played in back-to-back summer tournaments for Chile. Then to United, he was burnt out, So I think the Corona pandemic finally gave him a chance to charge those batteries, and it looks like it. Because, he's been looking inspired. So shout out to him. Doubt he stays with United, but shout out to what he's been doing right now. I think he helps Inter keep some hope there, which is funny. We all picked Inter again, and last week we all picked Inter, and they tied. So we'll see if it pays off this week. And finally, in Serie A this weekend on Friday, also at 2:45 p.m. on Plus, AC Milan, who has been resurrected the last month or so, plays Atalanta. This could be a very high-scoring match because Milan just scored another 5 goals this weekend. Atalanta, we know, scores probably more than anybody in Europe right now. Who do you guys got?
I'll take Atalanta for the win.
I think we're probably starting to see Atalanta wear down a little bit, and I'm going to go with the draw here.
With the draw? Oof. I'm going to go... Man, I don't know. I'm going to go Atalanta with this one, too. Milan has been hot, but I think Atalanta has just got too much. They play so much more differently than most teams in Italy. They play a little bit of that 3-5-2 action that Conte is kind of familiar with. So, and then they don't have per se superstars, right? But they have a lot of decent players who bought in and know their role, right? So I think, sometimes Muriel comes in off the bench and scores 2 or 3 goals, right? Their parts are interchangeable. So I'll go Atalanta with that. And that wraps up our 6 picks for this weekend. We'll see if Andres can continue his good run of form, or if Johnny or I can bounce back. The other shout out I remember now was a quick shout out to FC Porto. Porto won the Portuguese league in these last few days. Very quietly, we kind of forgot about the Portuguese league and that the fact that it came back. But our boy Tecatito Corona, got his second league title there in Portugal. And there's even rumors of Tecatito going to Spain, I'm hearing. So maybe, hopefully, he makes a transition to bigger things.
I did have a shout out too. Who do we think wins the boot in England?
Aubameyang's in first right now, right? I think
they're all close. I think Vardy's right there.
Oh yeah,
and Salah is there still too. I think
I'm gonna go Aubameyang. Aubameyang tied Salah and Mane last year, but I think Aubameyang has just been really hot recently.
So they play Liverpool though, so we'll see. And then I don't know who their last game of the season is against. For Arsenal?
Yeah, off the top of they play Aston Villa this week, and then I forget who they close out against. But they play Aston Villa.
They play Watford.
Oh, Watford. Yeah, no, those are 2 weak sides that I think they can take advantage of.
That does line up nicely for Aubameyang.
We'll see. But yeah, once again, thank you everybody who joined us live this week. We had a lot to talk about. Thanks to anybody who commented. Thank you guys for sharing. Please, if you haven't commented, let us know what you think. Give us your thoughts on your favorite team, on current events. And again, keep your eye out on the Premier League, especially this weekend. It's the last round of matches, and there's a lot to play for in terms of European football. So definitely watch some Premier League if you haven't lately. Keep your eye out on the Italian League. Watch some MLS. Actually, Orlando and Philadelphia are playing right now, I think, wrapping up their last group match. And again, keep supporting us, and thank you for supporting us. And also support FHP coming at you with another fight card as the events at Fight Island wrap up this weekend. Another fight night with a great matchup, Robert Whittaker versus Darren Till. So follow the Full Heel Network and be on the lookout for Fight Companion this Saturday for another stacked card in the UFC. So yeah, for Johnny, Andres, Rafa, and myself, thanks again. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. We'll see you all next Monday, or on Saturday if you're into UFC. Peace out, y'all.
Peace.